Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Dave Strohmeyer with Saddle Up Shooting, your host. I hope I have a good one for you today because recently I bought the new 22 ARC in a Howa 1500 mini action, and so far so good. But I'm still trying to compare the data that Hornady puts out in terms of muzzle velocity compared to other 22 caliber rifles. So the second part of that today is, here is the Howa 1500 mini, and here is my 223. Now, these are not set up the same. This has a 24-inch barrel, this only has a 22-inch barrel. One's a bolt action, the other's a gas gun. But that comparison is going to be a true comparison for what these two rifles were probably designed for, and that's for hunting. So come back in a moment, folks. Let's go ahead and get to comparing and get to shooting. Okay, up first is my 223 5.56 24-inch barrel. You've probably seen it in multiple videos that I've done before. This is set up strictly as a varmint type of situation. The 223 5.56 is well over 60 years old, and probably every red-blooded American owns one. Whatever they use it for, just fun shooting, for tactical, practical, competition, or for hunting. And mine is strictly set up for hunting. 24-inch barrel, 5 by 25 by 56, 34 millimeter scope. Everything is set up for longer range. Now, my longer range is out to 400 yards. But again, we're going to be comparing this against the 22 ARC in terms of velocity numbers only. Accuracy has to do with the individual rifle and, of course, the shooter and load development. Alright, so I'm going to be shooting two bullets, 55 grain and the 60 grain. 60 grain will be closer to what the 22 ARC is going to be shooting, a 62 grain. So without further ado, let me go ahead and turn the camera on down there. Let's go ahead and get situated, and let's just make a simple comparison based upon velocity and accuracy. Be right back. Okay, we're all set up here. Now, the purpose of this rifle, as I said, is for varmint hunting, but mainly for fast follow-up shots when you might have multiple targets and you don't have to take your eye off the scope because the cycling action in an MSR is automatic. But the difference between it and a bolt action are miles apart because of the gas operation system, the mechanical operations that are independent of a regular, just simple bolt. This has a rotating bolt, it has a buffer spring, a buffer tube, it has a gas block that limits or increases the amount of gas that's needed to cycle various types of ammunition. The scope I have on here is a very powerful scope designed to shoot long distance. Okay, so I'm shooting the 55 grain Nosler. Now again, comparing this to the 22 ARC is a tough comparison because I'm shooting benchmark powder, and that's only 25 grains of powder. But in the 22 ARC, I'll be using CFE 223 and 33 grains of powder. So you do the math, 25 grains to 33. But again, what we're checking here is for accuracy and the numbers. So let's go ahead and shoot. Check for accuracy and the numbers. Eyes on, ears in. I'm out here on Bureau of Land Management land. There is a guy that's out here shooting that direction. But other than that, 5 to 10 mile an hour wind. Here we go. Okay, that average was 3220, but a high SD of 51. Okay, so now let's just go ahead and quickly follow up with the 60 grain VMAX. Now this is going to be probably closer to the 22 ARC's 62 grain. Now the bullet construction is different, obviously. The ELDVT for the 62 ARC is a new development with the longer, sleeker, higher BC type of situation numbers, whereas the 60 grain VMAX is set up for these traditional older cartridges. Okay, well let's go ahead and fire away on these. Let's go ahead and do a new summary here. All right, be the target right next to the last one I shot. Ooh, threw that one, didn't I? Okay, let's get those numbers. Average of 3190, still a high SD of 45. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch over to the 22 ARC and go ahead and compare. I'm not going to make any scope adjustments. That today is not, because I'm only out there at 75 yards. I expect to be shooting lower because the bullet hasn't had time to rise at these speeds. So let's switch over to that 22 ARC and let's find out the difference. Okay, up on the bench is my Howa Mini Super Deluxe chambered in 22 ARC. Now, if you've been following my videos, you've seen this rifle already, and this is a comparison series against other 22 caliber type of rifles. You just saw the 223 5.56 with a 1 in 8 twist. The 22 ARC has a 1 in 7 twist, so it is designed for the heavy for caliber types of bullets, clear up to 90 grains. But for all intents and purposes, I'm keeping this as a varmint cartridge, and I'm shooting the 62 grain ELDVT. Now I want to show you the difference between factory loaded ammo and my hand loaded ammo. The factory loaded ammo, I assume that Hornady has to load it to be able to shoot in both gas guns and bolt guns. So I expect a lower velocity than my hand loads, which are set up for bolt action. But I'm going to go ahead and shoot. Again, we're testing for the numbers and for the accuracy. Okay, let's go ahead and get going here. First up is the factory loads. .3260. So that's on par with the 223 with the 55 grain, and about 70 feet per second faster than the 60 grain VMAX. See how she groups. .3202 on that one. That one kind of went funny, didn't it? I'm kind of at an angle. My table's at an angle. I don't know if I'm just not holding it correctly. I don't have a bubble level on here. Probably should. But it's a hunting gun. Let's just see where this next one goes. Okay, 32-23 on that one. All right, so let's go ahead and now shoot my hand loads, which I assure you is going to be faster. All right, here we go. These are my hand loads. Target right next to the last one I shot. Better have some better accuracy. 3368. Again, this is a 20-inch barrel, not a 24-inch barrel that Hornady uses to compile their data. So that 2 inches will probably account for about 50 feet per second difference. .3378. Well, pretty good ejection on this little Halla. And we'll have to take a look at that group. It's in the black, I can't see it from here. 3383. So that was an average of 3376 with a standard deviation of 6.2. Oh, all right, let's go check out that target. Make the comparison as far as accuracy, make the comparison as far as numbers. Be right back. Okay, let's take a look at these two targets. The 5.56 up here, the 22 arc down here. First three shots with the 55 grain average of 13 feet per second, and that's a 3/4 inch, maybe a little less, not a bad group. Then over here is the 60 grain VMAX. That averaged 90 feet per second, 7/8. You can see I kind of threw one shot there, but 7/8 of an inch I'll take for varmint hunting. All right, then down here was the 22 arc. This is what most of you are viewing this video about. Okay, factory 62 grain ELD, average of 32.28. And an 1.5 inch group. Now, on previous shots, it did better than this, but this is only at 80 yards. Keep that in mind. Okay, then over here now is the 62 grain, my hand load with CFE 223. That was a 1/2 inch group, and look at the speed. 3376 as opposed to 32.28 for the factory loads. Again, I want to repeat, the factory loads from Hornady are probably loaded so that you can shoot them in both a gas gun and a bolt action. Okay, folks, that'll do it for this video. I hope no matter which rifle you have, you just go out and enjoy and shoot the one you shoot the best. Thanks very much for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you will. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave a comment if you will. Check your subscriptions, please. But as always, God bless y'all. See you again next time. Goodbye.